This is number 11.5. For each of these, you needed to first give the parameter and then state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So for question 8, you've got the city manager talking about paramedics arriving within 8 minutes, 70% of all calls with life-threatening injury. So they're trying to figure out whether they have arrived within 8 minutes more frequently this year. So the parameter in this case, what we're actually measuring is P, because it's a proportion, and it's going to be the proportion of calls involving life-threatening injuries, involving where paramedics arrived under 8 minutes. I'm just going to put less than 8 minutes there to save time. Okay, so then for that you needed to find the null hypothesis. Remember, null hypothesis basically means everything stays the same. There's no change. So the null hypothesis would be that last year and this year are going to be the same. So it would be P equals 0.78. The alternative hypothesis is what we think we can actually prove that would go against what we had originally thought. So in this case, we were trying to determine whether they did it more frequently, so the P would then be greater than 0.78. For part B, national study reports that households spend an average of 30% of their food expenditures in restaurants. And the Restaurant Association wonders if the national results apply locally. So they interview a sample of households and ask about their total food budget and the amount spent in restaurants. So in this case, even though it's percent, we're still talking about amount of their budget. So even though it says percent, we're really going to take the mean, because we're not talking about a proportion of the population. We're actually talking about a part of their salary. So in this case, the parameter is mu, because it's a mean. It's the mean amount of, we'll say, expenditures. I think that's how you spell that. Whoops, not like that. Used in restaurants. Okay, so then our null hypothesis would be that it stays the same. So mu would equal 30. In this case, basically we are seeing if it changed. So our alternative hypothesis is just that it doesn't equal 30. This would be one of those two-sided tests that we would do if we were going to go about and do the test.